Flashgap is a little app that permits you to do an album with your friends on a night out, and all the pictures taken during that night out disappears in 3 seconds, and no one has access to the photos until the next day at noon precisely, where everybody receives the album and discovers and surprised what actually happened. So the idea and the insight of Flashgap was when I was with my friends in high school and then in university. We used to have this GoPro and we used to strap it over our foreheads during the night out and went out, and everybody passed it on, and the next day when we all woke up in the same apartment, we plugged in the GoPro in the TV, and we just watched all the footage and remember things that we didn't even imagine could have happened. And you also see all the perspectives of your friends. That's the interest of Flashgap. It's not only you taking pictures and disappearing, it's all your friends taking pictures of the same event. And you can't always see everything in an event, so you're always missing out on something. And Flashgap, you just receive the full album in surprise the next day. So that was a real insight. After, I was quite inspired as well by the movie The Hangover. Yeah, that's pretty big blockbuster. And the idea really hit me when you see the end credits of The Hangover, when they all discover the camera and say, "Oh my God, what happened?" And they just discover the photos. That was the thing that I said, that we can just scale it and do it now. And the emotion of discovering all the photos the next day was exactly what I wanted to scale. First of all, it was just an idea for like 2 or 3 months in my head. Nothing was concrete. Then I just talked about it to a friend, and he said, "Look, let's do this." So we hopped on, and we started from scratch. Nothing, no knowledge in IT. So we started looking at agencies that can do these kinds of products. And it cost 50,000 euros just to make the app with an agency. So we said we don't have that kind of money. Even at the time, there was 2 or 3 investors that were ready to pay for that product. But that's not how it went. I called him a friend that I haven't spoken for a long time. He was in IT skill. He had a master's degree in IT, and he presented the project, and he said, "I'm on board immediately." And I started from there, and then we worked in a basement, not really a basement, it was like above a restaurant, like this little apartment, maybe 10 square feet, for a month and months, creating the app, creating all the marketing behind, creating all the branding, creating all the partnerships, the press, etc. And we launched in December, and just before we asked another IT guy to come in, so we were 4 founders, 2 in business and 2 in tech. So yeah, it was basically just above a little restaurant in a 10 square little room, maybe half the size of this one. We had 10,000 euros in cash brought by the 4 founders. The 3/4 of it went into the law, all the company administration, etc. And we had to figure out only one way to get this app on the market, and the only way, I think, is to be as different as any other app that there is in the market. There's a mass market of apps coming out every day in every country in the world, and the only solution is just to think not outside the box, but just to think differently than everybody thinks. So we said, okay, how are we going to brand this app? Are we going to say Flashgap is an album that you take with your friends, that disappear, that comes back the next day, or are we just going to say it's called the Hangover app because it's inspired by the Hangover? So that message was actually pretty clear. It had a pretty social hook on social media, on the press, and that's actually all the strategy and the marketing was based on this image, this message, and this core value that we transmitted with the Hangover hook. So that was a big plan. The other plan was actually knocking on doors, saying, "Yeah, we've got this great app that's coming out. How can we imagine a partnership?" And we went door by door for months and months, trying to find out people that were interested in the app. We tried to interest the press with the New Year's. So the New Year's, the whole strategy was to come out 4 New Years to interest the press at this time of the year, where concepts like this can actually be pretty fun on the New Year's. On the New Year's, almost in the 15th first day that we came out, almost 250,000 photos were taken just on the New Year's in France. And we had some pretty nice articles that pushed it all over Europe. So we had lots of New Year's done in Germany, England, Spain, and Italy. So that's how we did it. That's the whole campaign. When we went out in bootstrap with no money, and we made 45,000 downloads, the investments actually came pretty fast. So in 2 weeks it was done. Private investors from living in California, from Europe, and from France as well. In 2 weeks we had raised 250,000 euros just for the European development. First of all, the app is not only based on heavy drinking. People will use it to go out. Not always heavy drinking. There are lots of people that use it in the afternoons, classic afternoons with friends where you share moments. They use it and then they continue the night on. We didn't have any ethic problems at all because our app is based on privacy and friendship. So you can't actually share a photo on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. When it's in Flashgap, it's actually in Flashgap. You have to screenshot or download the app, then put it on Facebook. So it's a harder way. After, you always have the possibility to how do you say that in English? To clear the photo, to delete it. Sorry. And if it's not a picture that's taken by you, you can actually ask your friend to take it off with a simple button. And if he does it, we take it out immediately. There's a report button that sends us an email, and it's automatically deleted. So there's no problem in terms of ethic. And people are actually always satisfied because the photos that they don't want to see on Flashgap are immediately deleted. First of all, there's lots of paperwork that's completely useless, to be honest, in France. But it's part of the job. Otherwise, I don't think it's very different in any other countries, except maybe the investor world in France is pretty, I'd say, old school. To raise money, you have to have a business plan or a clear strategy. It's not like in the US where you can have just a product and lots of users, and then you can think about a business model on the second hand. In France, they're a little bit more reserved on these kinds of plans. So it's quite hard to have, let's say, an Americanized idea and markets to develop in France. So it's pretty hard. After the days are the same in France or in England, it's just one office and 7 guys and 7 people working 8 to 8. Flashgap is in 110 countries, and in 110 countries, the UK is the more active country in the world. We decided to hit the UK through our marketing researchers because we noticed that the UK students go out more often than any other European students. We noticed that the UK are actually taking a lot of photos with their smartphones, and we weren't wrong, because when we hit the UK, over 180,000 photos were taken in less than 2 weeks, and it's continuing to grow in the UK. It's one of the fastest growing market that we had since the beginning. There's lots of entrepreneurs that are pretty impressive in what they do and how they think, but the person I always mention in terms of inspiration is Simon Sinek. I think he's English as well. He's a TED show speaker and talks about marketing and motivation. And he's the inventor of the Golden Circle, the why, the what, and the how. And he associates biology to marketing, and it's one of the most brilliant things that I've heard. And it's going to be all the strategies in terms of leading businesses that's gonna happen. So yeah, I'd say him. The biggest one I give all the time is hire people that are smarter than you, faster and more efficient. Because if you don't do that, you're going to end up doing their work because you're not going to be satisfied. And at the end, the CEO and all the founders have to be the less qualified and less efficient in the whole company for the company to work really well. That's the biggest advice I can get. Second advice: when you found your team, the founders team, you have to be really sure that you have the same vision. Because when you're in the day-to-day work, you have to have the same ambitions, and one doesn't have to say, oh, "I'm tired. I don't want to work during a week or two," or things like that. You have to have the same vision and the same ambition in a team of founders if you want it to work on the long term. And the last advice I can give is everything you plan is not going to work. It's going to go the opposite way. So always have a B, C, and D solution, because you're never going to be satisfied with your work, because each time we had something prepared to launch, it went the other way around. So always be prepared to have something else, and always be mentally prepared to say it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. That's the biggest advice I can give. probably in my small experience.